Okay, I think we'll probably start the webinar. There are people still joining, but we will make this webinar available to everybody after the event this morning. You've probably all heard there that we are recording the webinar. So hi everyone, and a very good morning to all of you from Ireland. You're all very welcome to this, the University of Limerick's Future Student Webinar. My name is Amanda Noonan. I'm the International Recruitment Manager working in the UL Global Division. Some of you on the call today will have an offer letter from UL. Some of you may have already accepted that offer letter, and some of you may be just thinking of making an application to UL. But I do hope that all of you find this presentation useful as you make your preparations to study abroad. And I am going to cover all types of queries over the next hour or so. And just to let you know, this is an interactive session. So if you have any questions during the session, you can use the chat box. As my two colleagues, I have Ciara Kinahan and Ciara O'Donoghue. They're also on the call and they will be able to answer any of those queries for you. I'm also be joined on the call today, hopefully, by one of our alum students, Neetu Chopra. And Neetu will talk to you in a little while about her experience studying at UL. So if that's all okay, I'm going to start the presentation and give you some, let's just see, can I move this down? Is that screen moving, Ciara? Try this way. Okay, sorry about that. I hope you can all see that now.
Yeah,
So
there
great,
now.
brilliant, thank you. So I'm going to start the presentation this morning with some information about Ireland. And for those of you that are not familiar with Ireland, we are located in Northern Europe and the United Kingdom is our nearest neighbour. And then across the Atlantic Ocean, we have North and South America. Ireland, as you may know, it's a very small country. We have a population of about 5 million people. You can see on the screen there now some of the flight time. So a flight from Dublin to London will take about 1 hour, and it takes about 7 hours to fly to New York. And then Accra is about an 8-hour flight journey away. And there is some more information on the next slide about Ireland and why people would choose Ireland as a study destination. The first point here, I think, is really very safe, a very friendly and a very welcoming environment for international students. We are ranked third on the Global Peace Index, the most recent one in 2023. We're just behind Iceland and Denmark. So Ireland is a really safe and a really peaceful country. Ireland has an affordable and a high quality education system, and all of the Irish education qualifications, they are recognised worldwide for excellence. In Ireland at the moment, we've about 35,000 international students from over 100 countries, and this number is increasing each year. Even though we are quite a small Ireland, we are globally connected, and currently we have about 1,500 multinational companies that have based their EU operations in Ireland. And I think 16 out of the top 20 global technology companies, they also have their European headquarters in Ireland. And the main reason for this would be our highly skilled, educated and a highly capable workforce. And some of those companies would be like Facebook, Meta, Google, and LinkedIn as well. For all of the EU students that are on the call here today, you are permitted to work in Ireland after graduation. And for our non-EU students, there is a 2-year graduate work visa available for master's degree students, and there's a 1-year work visa available for all the undergraduate non-EU students. And all non-EU students, you are permitted to work part-time during your studies in Ireland. Ireland is the largest English-speaking country in the Eurozone. There's only Ireland and Malta that have English as a primary language. And then lastly, Ireland is very much a multicultural. It's very family orientated, and it's a very safe and friendly environment to study in. So we can now take a closer look at Limerick, and Limerick is the third largest city in Ireland. Dublin is our capital, and that's the largest city. Cork is the second largest city, and then Limerick, which is located in the midwest of Ireland, it's the third largest city. At the moment, Limerick has a population of about 250,000 people, and about 100,000 of those are located in the city centre. And Limerick is home to about 150 different nationalities, and it's a very young student city with half of the population under the age of 35. If you're interested in traveling, so if traveling is something that you enjoy doing, Limerick is the perfect place to explore Ireland from. You can see on the map there, we're about 30 minutes from Shannon International Airport. 2.5 hours on a bus will get you to Dublin, and we're only 1 hour from some really nice, beautiful beaches, and we do Europe as well. So this slide here, it just has some really nice pictures of UL. It is a campus-based university. It's a very open campus, and you will see locals from time to time. They'll come on campus, to walk around and to enjoy all of the space there. The university is divided into two banks, with the North Bank and the South Bank. One is in County Limerick and one is in County Clare, and there is access provided by a pedestrian bridge over the River Shannon. And if you look at the photos on the screen there now, you can see the bridge in the third picture on the top row. So at the moment, UL has about 17,000 registered students, and we do have students from over 100 different countries on campus. And as I've just mentioned, it is a campus-based university. So all of the university-owned buildings, including all the lab spaces, the lecture halls, the restaurants, and even the on-campus accommodation, they're all within the one space and they're all within walking distance. It's a very green parkland campus, as you can see from the picture there on your screen. And we are situated about 5 kilometres from Limerick city centre. There is a really good bus connection between the city and the university, but there's also a lovely walkway along the River Shannon that goes from UL into the city centre. We do have 8 on-campus villages for international students to choose from. You can see there in the top right-hand corner of the picture that's on the screen, that's one of the accommodation options that are available for our students. And I will speak a little bit about accommodation later on in the presentation. We do, I suppose, have quite a big campus. We have 366 acres and about 250,000 square meters of buildings. There's some really good state-of-the-art lab facilities and resources available to all registered students of the university. So moving on then a little bit, this slide shows some statistics for you. I think we'll look at the graduate employment rate first. So you can see that UL has a graduate employment rate of 97%. And what this means is that the last survey of our students, 97% of our graduates had successfully gained employment within 6 months of graduation, or they had chosen to continue with further study. And UL generally has a graduate employment rate that is higher than the national average, and that is mainly due to our links with employers. And the UL graduates, they would generally find employment in all sectors of the economy. We have, and I know I've just mentioned it, we do have 17,000 students enrolled at the moment, and about 3,000. And then if you look at the ranking on the top of the slide, you can see we were ranked between 101 and 150 in the Times Higher Education Young University in 2020. And these rankings, I suppose, they would reflect the university's commitment to the student experience and the industry relevant programs that we would offer at UL. So we can then look a little bit at working in Ireland. and all of our non-EU students can work part-time while studying. So you can work up to 20 hours per week during the semester, and then you can work 40 hours per week outside of the semester dates. And then after you graduate, you can apply for a 1G visa, which allows you to stay and work full-time in Ireland. So as I've said, the undergraduate students, you can apply for a 1-year visa, and postgraduate students, you can apply for a 2-year work visa. And for the EU students on the call today, you can remain and work in Ireland after graduation as normal. We're very lucky at UL. We have a really good service called the UL Careers Connect. And this service, they offer one-to-one counselling and assistance in relation to finding employment for all registered students of the university. So that's a really good service that you can make use of at your time at UL. And then the average graduate salary for UL graduates, it's about €35,500. And as I mentioned, 97% of our graduates, they are in employment within 6 months of graduation. If you want to remain in Ireland after your 1G visa expires, then everybody you'd need to apply for a Tier 2 visa, and that has a duration of 3 years. There are a number of requirements for this Tier 2 visa. The first one is that you must have a full-time job in an area related to your studies, and you must be earning a minimum of €30,000 per year. The position, so the job that you're in, it must be within an area where there is a skills shortage in Ireland. And then the last requirement is that the company you're working for, they must be willing to sponsor you. And then if you're working in Ireland for 5 years, you can then apply for permanent residency. And for those of you that might be interested, the minimum wage in Ireland at the moment is currently €12.70 per hour. So we're also quite lucky, I suppose, in that Limerick has a number of multinational companies based here in Limerick, and they provide the opportunity for our students to get work experience both during their studies, but they also provide the opportunity for our students to work and live in Limerick after they graduate. And once a year, they host a really large careers fair on campus. And this is attended by both national and multinational companies. The fair is open to all UL students, and it really is a good way to find out what opportunities are coming up with the different companies that attend the fair each year. If you want to look further into this, you can have a look at some of our graduate testimonials, and the web address is there at the bottom of the screen there now for you. So this slide here, it just shows some of the companies that are based in Ireland, and UL would work closely with some, if not all of them, for our undergraduate internship. So we have a cooperative education program for our undergraduate students, and we would work very closely with some of these companies. One that's there on the screen you've probably all heard of is Stryker. And Stryker is an American multinational medical technologies company, and they're based in Limerick. They're about 20 minutes from UL. They're in the Raheen Business Park. And another large company is Regeneron. And Regeneron is a leading science and technologies company. And again, they're located about 20 minutes from UL as well. Looking outside of Limerick, we have Pfizer. And Pfizer is one of Ireland's leading pharmaceutical employers. And I think it's actually the largest pharmaceutical investor at the moment in Ireland. We also have Intel, PayPal, Amazon. As you can see, there's a number of them on the screen there now. So the next thing that I want to talk to you all about is the on-campus accommodation that we have available. So we do have 8 purpose-built student villages at UL with 4,000 student rooms available. The on-campus accommodation has a private bedroom, so they're all single occupancy bedrooms. Some of them are en suite, and then all students would share a living room and a kitchen. Some of the villages are apartment style, and then some are houses, and they're all within walking distance of the university. The cost of the accommodation, it really does depend on the size of the house or apartment that you choose, but it does vary between 6,000 to 9,000 euro per year for a single room. That cost does include all of your utility bills, so there's no hidden costs to the students. There is 24-hour security and a live-in village manager, so it really is a nice, safe option for students. And for postgraduate students on the call today, there is the option to book accommodation for 51 weeks. So you should really consider that when making your booking. The bookings for on-campus accommodation, they're already open. So they opened on the 23rd, I think, of February. And the rooms can be booked at studentliving.ul.ie. Order to book your room, and you can reserve a room on campus by paying a small deposit of 50 euro. Both the on-campus and the off-campus accommodation, it books up extremely fast. So if you have your offer letter, and if you haven't done so already, I really would strongly advise you to book your accommodation as soon as possible. And it's really, really important that you would have your accommodation booked before you arrive in UL in September. There is some off-campus accommodation, but it's extremely limited. If you do need to contact the accommodation office, you can email them, and their email address is accommodation@ul.ie. So this slide here just has some information on the tuition fees. And the tuition fees, they vary per faculty and per program. And the full list of tuition fees for the next academic year, it is available online, and you can see the web address is on the screen there now. It is up to each student to check the schedule of fees to determine how much your program is going to cost in September. This is just an average cost. So for non-EU master's degree, the average tuition in the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, it's about 18,000 euro. In our School of Engineering, the average tuition fee, it's about 19,000 euro. In the Chemie Business School, it's about 18,000 euro. And in EHS, in our Education and Health Science faculty, it's about 19,000 euro. There are some individual programs that will have a higher cost due to field trips or lab work that would be involved in those programs. So then looking at the scholarships, and I am pleased to say that we do have merit-based scholarships available to all non-EU international applicants. The decision on the scholarships are made at the time of assessing your application. So if you qualify for a scholarship, you'll receive your scholarship notification at the same time as your offer letter. So there's no separate application for the scholarship, and every application that we receive, we do assess all students for the scholarships. So now I just wanted to go through what you need to do if you have an offer letter and are yet to accept your place on the programme. And I am aware that some people attending this webinar, you've already received your offer. So if you go through the offer letter, it will show you the steps that you need to follow. So the first thing you need to do is you need to pay a 600 euro acceptance deposit. And once this is paid, it secures your place on the programme. Normally, everyone is given 1 month in which to accept your offer. And this 1 month is particularly science and health sciences. Your offer, it's not revoked if you miss the acceptance deadline, but it's really best to check with the admissions team if you're planning on accepting your offer after the deadline, just to ensure that there is still places available on the programme. And again, if you need to contact the admissions team, their email address is gps@ul.ie. And I just want to reiterate, in most cases, there won't be any issue with accepting your place late on the programme. So this slide here has some information on the payment of your tuition fees. And I know, again, some of you have already paid your tuition fees. But for those of you that are yet to pay, I just wanted to let you know that all payments, including your acceptance deposit, they should be made through the TransferMate payment portal. And there is a link to this payment portal on the offer letter that you will receive from UL. To use the TransferMate system, it's very easy. You need to set up a TransferMate account using your UL student ID number. So you will need your UL ID number to set up your TransferMate account. And your UL ID number, that's available at the top of your offer letter. The payments that you will make, they'll be made in your local currency, so it should reduce the cost to you. And then once the payment is received by TransferMate, they will send us confirmation and we update your admissions record. We don't issue receipts for these payments. You use the receipt that you got from TransferMate when making your visa application. So the schedule of payments is on the screen now. And again, this is for students with an offer letter. But I think it's also good information to have in case some of you on the call are still thinking about making an application to UL. So again, the first payment, as I've just mentioned, it's your acceptance deposit, which is €600, and that is put towards your tuition fees. And then the next payment you need to organise is the tuition fee payment. And this needs to be made before you can apply for your visa. And this payment can be anything from 50% to the total amount of the fees owed. Once you've paid a minimum of 50% of the tuition fees, we will organise a visa support letter for you if you need one. You can then make the rest of the payment either in one instalment or per semester. And for anyone that's on the call today that may require a visa, you should all think about the timeline involved in your visa application, just to make sure that you make your tuition payment in enough time to receive your visa support letter and to go through with your visa application. So I just want to give a small bit of information, I suppose, about the visa process for students that Firstly, if you're not sure if you need a visa, you can check this really quickly on the DFA website, and the web address is on the screen there now. It's dfa.ie. And as I mentioned, you need to make your payment of at least 50% of your tuition fees before you can make your visa application. The visa process, it can vary slightly from country to country. So really, you should all check the Embassy of Ireland website in your home country and become familiar with the processes and the regulations. You should also make yourself familiar with the timeline involved in a visa application. In some countries, it can take up to 8 weeks to have your visa application processed. So we do have a really useful app that we use for our international students, and the app is called Campus Connect. And the Campus Connect app, it's available to use by UL offer holders. You can join very easily. You download the app and you register. And details of how to do this, again, is on your offer letter. So if you have your offer letter and you want to join the Campus Connect app, go through the information that's on your offer letter. I think the app is brilliant. It's really good. It allows you to meet students that are coming to UL, maybe from the same country as you or from a different country, and maybe going on to the same program as you. The UL Global team, we also run Q&A sessions from time to time on the app, which I think some of you might find really useful as you make your preparations to study in Ireland. There's also a really good interactive map that you can use when you arrive on campus. And I also just want to mention, for students that are interested in coming to UL but have yet to make an application, we are still taking applications and we will do so up until the 1st of July. So normally, once you submit a complete application, the admissions team will make a decision on it in about 10 working days. Some programs will require an interview, and this is normally conducted over the phone. And all applications for all programs, so for all undergraduate, all taught postgraduate programs, they're all made online using the online application portal. And then lastly, and before I hand it over to Neetu, there are some contact details on the screen now, should you need them. So again, if you need to contact our admissions team, they can be contacted at gps@ul.ie, and they will be able to answer any questions or queries you might have in relation to your application. Our student ambassadors, they regularly post blogs about their experiences living and studying in Ireland. And you can see all of you to keep up to date with our social media channels as well over the next few months. We do post a lot about what's happening at the university. So now I am going to hand over to Neetu Chopra. And Neetu graduated from UL with an MSc in Business Analytics and is currently employed with Apple, I think, and she will be able to give you an overview of your time in UL.
Apologies, Amanda. I think
Oh,
Nisha's struggling to log in at the moment. Is that all right?
no problem at all. We might start then, Ciara, if it's okay, and just go through some of the questions. Was there any questions there that you think we need to discuss?
I think a lot of people are asking currently just about the application process.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've just been directing them to a GPS, but
Yeah.
they're always welcome to contact UL Global for any other issues.
Absolutely. So the application process, it's really very straightforward. It's an online application system for undergraduate and postgraduate. At the time of making your application, you upload all of your documents onto our application portal. Once we have all of your documents, go to the course director and they will make a decision on your application. And as I mentioned, if you're eligible for a scholarship, we do assess all applications for scholarships as well. And if you're successful, you'll get your offer letter for the program and you'll also get your scholarship letter.
Great, thanks, Amanda. If anyone would like to send a message into the chat, I'm sure Amanda would be happy to answer.
I just see one here, Ciara.
Yep.
I'm a student from Iraq, but I'm of German nationality. So when do I apply? Am I considered EU or a foreign one? Passport is German and your studies are Iraqi. Yeah, that's a really good question. And we do get asked questions like that the whole time. It depends on where you're living. So to qualify for an EU student, you would need to be resident in an EU country for 3 of the 5 years prior to enrolling at the university. So once you submit your application, the admissions team will review that. If you've been living in Iraq, then you would be considered a non-EU student. So I hope that answers your questions. And there's a question here. Is there a different process for paying the acceptance fee for students of partner schools that are paying tuition to their home country? I'm not 100% sure about that. There could be. Could I ask you to send an email to ulglobal@ul.ie? And what we will do is when we get that query, we will forward it on to Ciara Halliday. So Ciara would be over all of those partnerships agreements with our European universities. So definitely send that query into the UL Global inbox and we'll get back to you through there. How and where to create an account of the Campus Connect app. So you cannot create an account on the Campus Connect app unless you have your offer letter. So if you have your offer letter from the university, just read down through the offer letter. And I think it's near the end. It does give you a link to how to log on and how to create your account on the Campus Connect app. So I'm just going up through the questions. Somebody says, I'm joining the cybersecurity course. I know last year it was MEng, Information and Network Security. Yes, there's a few small changes made to that program and it does have a new name. And the employment rate for this particular master's degree, I don't have employment rates per program. What I can say is overall, if you look at all of the students that graduated each year, the last time we surveyed our students, there was a 97% graduate employment rate. Again, on the salary, it really does depend in your master's degree and the type of role that you're applying for. If you wanted to contact the course director with regard to employment rates, I'm pretty sure they would be able to help you. How many people are joining? We do have quite a number. That would be quite a popular program. Off the top of my head, I don't know how many students are joining. Some may be joining, but not have joined the Campus Connect app yet. It's pretty early. We're only in March. We do find that maybe June, July, the Campus Connect app does get busier. Security program. It's one of the most popular programs that we would run each year. So somebody has a query here, somebody from India, they want to do English for a master's degree. The minimum scholarship. We have one scholarship per faculty, and for each of the faculties, sorry, we've a scholarship for AHSS, EHS, and Science and Engineering, and the scholarship is €2,000. So every student will be assessed for that €2,000 scholarship. The €500 scholarship. When was the last time the employment rate was surveyed? We do it every 2 years. So it's run every 2 years. I applied to the Ministry of Education for a translation of my high school certificate twice. Lost the request. We do, it would depend on where you're from. If you want to send a query along with your high school transcript, if you want to send that to GPS, or sorry, ulglobal@ul.ie, it can be sent to me and I'll definitely take a look at it for you. Some of them we don't need translated, but some of them then we absolutely would. Can I opt for non-campus accommodation? The You can, yes, you can, but there's not that many places available. I would really, really urge anybody that's coming to the university in September to book the on-campus accommodation. We have rooms reserved for the international students. If you come in September and you're looking for off-campus accommodation, it's going to be extremely hard. Over the last number of years, we've had huge difficulty with students getting accommodation off campus. So if you can at all, I would urge you to book your on-campus accommodation.
I just wanted to jump in there, Amanda. There's a few questions from students asking about Erasmus. So this webinar, I suppose, is more catered for full degree undergraduate, postgraduate students. So anyone who's there coming in as an incoming Erasmus student, you'd be best placed to direct the Erasmus team. So their email is incoming.erasmus@ul.ie. I've responded to a few people there with their email address anyway, so you'll be able to see it. But you'd be best placed to get in contact directly with the Erasmus team, even if it's queries about accommodation, they'll be able to assist you there with that as well.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Ciara.
No worries.
And there's another query there. My daughter is born in Sudan, living in the UAE, and intends to study AI. She's the A-level British curriculum. Yes, absolutely, she can apply, and she makes her application online. She doesn't apply through the CAO, so she makes her application online via the university web pages. There's a query there about PhD in computer science. I'd like to know if there's scholarships for the program. It depends on so many factors. I would urge you to get in contact with the graduate and professional studies, or if you wanted, you could contact the computer science department directly. Funding and scholarships for PhD, they change very, very quickly. Not be still available. So I would urge you to make contact with the faculty that you're interested in studying your PhD program with. Graduated from college. If you're graduated from college and you're applying for a master's degree, then we only need to see your bachelor degree results, so your college results. Where do I get my student ID for booking my lecture? So if you look up at the top of your offer letter, it's a number that starts with 24, and that is your UL student ID. If you have any issues and you still can't find it, you can email the UL Global office, and we'll be able to help you with that. So applied for 24-25 for an undergraduate program as an EU student to the CAO. The CAO results will not be out until I think the end of August. So you won't have your results then until then. You won't know until then. So simply are solely based on the country where you live. It's based, sorry, this query that I'm looking at goes back to EU or non-EU and what tuition fees that you would pay. It's based on where you've been living and paying taxes for 3 out of the 5 year preceding the year that you enter the university. So if you want to apply, submit your documents. If you think you qualify for EU tuition fees, just submit your documentation, and the admissions team will go through all of that for you. It's not based on citizenship. It's based on where you're living, so your country of domicile. Can I apply for a master's in psychology without having a bachelor's degree? No. The minimum requirement for all of our master's degree programs is that you would have a bachelor degree. Somebody here said, I'd like to know if there are other external scholarships for Ireland for non-EU students, especially fully funded scholarships. Yes, we do have the Government of Ireland Scholarship Programme, and applications for that, I'd imagine. Oh, I'd need to check the dates. Kira, do you know if they're open or closed? You're on mute, Kira, sorry.
Sorry, I think they closed this week.
Yeah, I think
So
yeah.
I think it might actually even be today, the 13th of March. I feel like I have that
If you
date
want-
in my head.
Okay, yeah,
But if you just
then
pop
sure.
in Government
But
of
for the
Ireland
person that sent
online.
the
Sorry, Amanda, I think I'm cutting over you. Go ahead.
perfect. Thank you. There's a bit of a lag there, so if you want to search for that, we have a feeling the applications might be closed or that they may close today, but you can definitely check that out. I'll graduate in June of this year from high school. I've sent you many emails about it, but I don't understand how to apply. If you want to send another email to ulglobal@ul.ie, we'll definitely get back to you. You can make your application now. We do give conditional offer letters. So if you're eligible, we'll give you a conditional offer letter. The condition will be that you will complete your high school, maybe meet the English language requirement, and we'll also specify the grades that you should receive in your high school. So yeah, you can still make your application. Again, there's a query there from a future Erasmus undergraduate student. You're going to attend the autumn semester. You'll need to contact the Erasmus team. Kira had just mentioned that the webinar today, it's really more for full-time students, so students who would come for an undergraduate or a postgraduate student. But if you do need specific information about the Erasmus program, you should contact the Erasmus team, and you can contact them on erasmus@ul.ie, and they'll get back to you with an answer to your query. Somebody says here, do I know how competitive 4,000 level psychology undergraduate class are get into? I noticed they have a pretty small student cap. I'm presuming there's no they're not competitive once you're on the program. So if you look at the modules for each of the program, once you have an offer letter for the program, we pre-prescribe the modules that you must take. So if you are signed up to do psychology, we will tell you exactly the modules that you need to do. The Bachelor of Psychology itself, to get onto the program, would be pretty competitive. Yeah. Somebody says they're waiting on their bachelor degree in June. So can I still apply for my master's? Absolutely. Yeah. So as I've just said, we do give conditional offer letters. So you can make your application now, and you need to submit your transcripts to date. So any transcripts that you have for your bachelor degree, you submit them along with your application. If successful, how do I find out the student cap for the program I want to apply for? You'd need to contact the course director. So if you look on the UL website, find the program that you're interested in, and on the top right-hand corner of that webpage, the course director details will be there. Somebody's asking about the IB diploma, converting to 535 against CAO points of 510. I really can't say. The CAO points, they go up and down every year. Should it make me confident about my application? I really can't say. I mean, the scores you have are excellent, and I would be hopeful, but I couldn't say that I would be confident. You do need to wait and see. Submit your application, and the admissions team will review it for you. Are there, oh, I can see somebody's answering that one. Can I apply for a PhD without a master's? 20 plus years experience. Again, that is a query that would need to be directed towards the graduate and professional studies. So if you want to drop them an email, they will let you know. I think it would depend on the area that you want to do your PhD in. How much can a student earn off campus? I can't really answer that question. What I can say is that you're allowed to work 20 hours per week during term time, and you can work full time during the semester breaks. So yeah, it's very hard to say. I think for master students, you need to remember as well that the program you're doing is going to be a very intensive program. So just because you're permitted to work 20 hours per week, you shouldn't count on it, because you might find that your program is really busy and that you don't have time to work the full 20 hours per week. My application for organizational behavior and psychology, my friend's application got rejected. Is it possible to reconsider? I can see that one of the Kira's is answering that for you, so I will leave that one. I submitted an application for on-campus accommodation. When would I find out if I could get the accommodation? Okay, so you have your offer in cybersecurity. That's great. Normally they get back to you within a few days. So if you've submitted your application for on-campus accommodation, and if it's been a while, please email ulglobal@ul.ie, and we will follow up with the global engagement team for you. So I'd love to pursue a master's in computer science. If I apply today, how long would it take me to get the acceptance letter? If you submit a complete application, and by complete application, I mean that you have transcripts for, we need a statement of marks for each semester that you've completed, and we need to see your bachelor degree award. If you've taken an English language exam, you should include that in your application as well. And normally, for computer sciences, they would make a decision within 10 working days. But you should get your application in as soon as possible. Sorry, the applied for translated certificate. If you just send me your document. Just send your documents that you have to ulglobal@ul.ie. You can say it's for the attention of Amanda Noonan. I'll review it, and I will then let you know if we need to have it translated into English. So I hope that's okay. How can I connect with other colleagues applying to my program, MSc in Public Health? The only avenue that we have is the Campus Connect app. So once you have your offer letter, you can set up a group. There may be one already there for the MSc in Public Health. And that's really the route that you should take if you need to connect with people coming onto the program. I've paid the acceptance fee, but did not receive the offer letter. I presume that you would have got your offer letter. Are you talking about an unconditional or conditional offer letter? If you've paid your acceptance fee, I'm assuming that you have your offer letter. If it's a conditional offer letter, you just use your conditional offer letter. We don't issue a second offer letter. When you apply for your visa, you use your conditional offer letter. You present your documents to show that you've met the requirements, and you also submit your transfer-mate receipt to show that you've paid the necessary tuition fees. Is a conditional offer enough for booking accommodation? Yes. With your conditional offer, you can book your on-campus accommodation. Just looking, there's a query there on the Erasmus Mundus Master's Programme. You would need to contact the coordinator for that program, and I don't have their name on the top of my head. So again, for the Erasmus Mundus, the Global Minds query, if you could send your query to ulglobal@ul.ie, we will forward it to the program coordinator that's based in UL. Can I complete my application with a provisional degree certificate? I'm from India. Yes, absolutely. We do give conditional offer letters, even with your provisional bachelor degree award. I'd like to know if the Master's Diploma of Music Therapy from Limerick is valid in Brazil. Absolutely. Yeah, all of the qualifications that we award, they're internationally recognised. So somebody else has accepted the offer on the Business Analytics programme. How the classes and examinations are structured. If you go onto the UL website and look for the Business Analytics programme, you will see all of the modules that you will study. There's also a book of modules that you can use if you want more information about the different modules. Generally, for master's degree students, you will probably have maybe 3 or 4 days on campus, and you may have one day free. But again, that varies from program to program. If you wanted to contact the course director with that query, they would be able to give you more information about the actual structure of the classes. But in general, all of the master students, you'll have your lectures where you're with all of your class, and then you'll be broken down into smaller groups for tutorials. So you'll need to factor that into your timetable as well. So my daughter ends her high school by the end of this year and is moving to Ireland for her English. Can she start the admissions process before June 25? Yes, she can submit her application at the end of October 2024. And she should be able to get her offer letter at that stage. Do we need to carry original documents, for example, a bachelor degree transcript, and move to Ireland for the programme? No. If you have your unconditional offer letter, so if we've received all of your documents, if you're at unconditional on our system, then we don't need to see your documents. It might be useful to carry a copy of them with you in case you would need them going through immigration at the airport. That's very unlikely, but I would definitely just carry a copy of them with you.
That's great, Amanda. Thank you so much for answering all those questions. Oh, we've Asha.
Another one. I think I've almost all the documentation to submit my application. I don't have the English requirement. That's okay. You can still make your application, and we will give you, if you're eligible, we'll give you a conditional offer. And the condition is that you meet the English language requirement. And then you have until you enroll on your program to take your English language exam and to meet the requirements. So absolutely, submit your application, and you have until the end of August to meet the requirement. Where can I find the schedule for the classes for master's programs? We won't have it until the end of August. So we won't be able to give students their timetables until the end of August. Any assistance with jobs for public health? We the UL Global Office. I'm not sure if you were on the call at the start. I did mention the careers division at the university. We have a really, really good careers division, and their remit is to assist all students in finding employment once they complete their program. So definitely once you join the program, I do offer workshops on, how to write your CV, how to prepare for interviews. So they would be able to provide assistance with that. I wish to pursue a higher diploma in cyber technology. I'm not sure about that program, a higher diploma in cyber technology. I'm not sure that's a program that we offer.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just the Masters of Engineering in Cybersecurity, but not a diploma.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And the applications for the Masters of Engineering are open now, so you can apply for the Masters now.
And then just somebody has a question on LinguaSkill. That's not one of the examinations that we would accept. And it's also not on the Department of Justice list of acceptable English language examinations. So the main ones that UL would accept, we take IELTS, we take TOEFL, and we also accept Duolingo. How many students are enrolled for the Bachelor of Arts program for 24-25? I would guess maybe 35 or 40, but I'm not 100% sure. The program would have students from Ireland, would have students from the EU, and also students from outside of the EU. I don't know how many Irish students are on it, but I would guess that program would have that number of students. If you want more information, if you wanted to contact the course director, they could let you know the size of the class this year. There, just going back to the provisional certificate, if you don't have it before you enroll, that's fine. We have allowed students to enroll onto the program before with their provisional certificate from Indian universities. We do recognise that it's an official document in India, so we will accept it for entry onto our programs. Okay, I think we've answered a lot of the questions. I do hope all of you found that session useful. Oh, you're very welcome. Somebody just said thank you for answering the questions. So I hope you found it useful. We will be running more of these over the next coming months. So please keep an eye on your emails if you want to join again. There's no problem. Somebody says I've registered for a course in January. I haven't received the offer letter yet. Okay, and Kira is getting back to you on that. Will a fresher be able to find a job as a data analytics? It would depend on the type of job that you wanted to do. But yes, companies in Ireland, they will take students directly off their program. Thanks to Ciara Kinahan and Ciara O'Donoghue for all your help with the webinar today. And again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to contact the UL Global office at any time with any type of question that you have. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you all in September.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.